You know, there's plenty of people who are looking for that special someone. Some are lucky enough to find them. Some are lucky enough to pierce by and find someone who they can share the rest of their lives with, to help them become the person they always wanted to be. Others live with the tragedy of knowing that person, and eventually that person slips away. But when you peel back the veil, just that little bit, you gotta wonder what it is you'll find. The story we present tonight is the story of Vera and Alec, neighbors in a small suburban neighborhood. Vera has just moved in with her fiance. I'm gonna say husband. A very short period of time, 2 months in fact, starting a new life, trying to get away from horrors past, her time in the military, and, well, let's just say that the happy couple didn't meet under the most friendly of circumstances. And then there's Alec. Alec is haunted by the remains of his own love, who passed away with some tragedy, has left him scarred internally. Now, with these two players in motion, it seems all is well in suburbia. Like a perfect painting. So let's begin with Vera. Vera, would you mind introducing us a little bit more to Vera?
Well, what really is there to say? Actually, now that you think about it, I guess quite a lot. I know I don't really look like much. 5'5", average build. It's honestly because I lost a lot of weight after, you know, what it was it took me out of what I love to do. Signed up at 18, tour duty. All seemed well till we hit the mine. Now, I've already talked at length about it. I don't want to talk any more than I have to. So let's just leave it at that. Frank sees me for what I am. A survivor, somebody who's willing to recover, and he's helped me doing that. So long as we put what happened to his brother behind us, we're going to have a happy life here. I'm going to throw myself into this ship like I threw myself into Afghanistan. And I'm not going to pull any punches.
Yeah. Life can't afford to end up letting you pull punches, not anymore. No. And we begin, as so many stories do, with Vera asleep. Frank is coming back tomorrow from a business trip. After all, his line of work requires he travels a lot. So the reason he moved out here was to make sure you were at least comfortable, a place away. But the sad truth is your dreams are anything but peaceful. You can see it. You feel it, that feeling of being trapped. You're alone, you're angry, you're watching, and you see these eyes panicked, mouth open, trying to scream. You feel tension, and you struggle to breathe. And as you look down, you see your own face, hands around your neck, and you're screaming, trying to, as you struggle to breathe. And it's at that moment you wake up, cold, sweat.
She's reflexively clutching around her abs. What time is it when she wakes up?
3:35 in the morning. You can feel that cold sweat cling to your tank top, and you feel the sheets soaked in sweat, and you're cold. You feel it. Your hands won't stop shaking.
I mean, Vera's had nightmares before. She's been through some trauma, but this doesn't follow the same grain, right? So she flings those sweat-stained sheets over to one side, leans over, puts her bare feet now onto the ground next to her, so she's sitting on the bed, runs her hand over the closely cropped, but not even really could call it hair. Just composes herself for a moment, takes a few deep breaths, stands up and starts making her way to the shower in the house. Just, trying to, even as she walks, still feeling that chill.
You feel the cold water's hit. It takes a while for it to heat up. Showering, you're trying to let it wash away. It's that taste in the back of your mouth, that palpable fear. Thankfully, dreams can't come back to haunt you. Of course, it's been a strain. Once you leave the shower, though, there's something's off. You realize is you need to step out, and you kind of wipe the mist away from the mirror. And you realize that there's no reflection of you. You're not there. Everything else in the room, there's something. You don't know what to think. You feel your heart race.
Let's just tighten over the mirror for just a sec, but reaches down, picks up a toothbrush, and then holds it, see if that reflects.
It does, but here's the weird thing. When you end up picking up the toothbrush, there's something off here. Why are you reaching on that side to pick it up? Isn't it normally over there? The toothbrush is on the wrong side of the sink.
She reaches over to the tap, one side cold, and turns on the cold side, puts her hand underneath it gently, carefully.
And it feels cold at first. And then you feel it warming.
Immediately shuts it off. Right. Reaches over to, again, presumably reflected now, to where the towel rack is. Puts that around her.
Well, it's not everything. This is the house you've been staying in. Everything else seems in order. It's just it feels wrong. The towel's where it should be. Everything's in order. But it's the little things that aren't right. Your hand reaches to one side to do something, and you realize it's on the other. You turn that odd doorknob, one way, and the door doesn't open. But if you twist it the other way, it opens. But why is that backwards? It's backwards. You don't. It feels wrong. Why?
She, still with the towel around her, bare feet now slapping on the wooden floor, makes her way over towards the kitchen. She looks over towards the kettle for a moment. When was Frank supposed to be back?
He's supposed to be back, the early afternoon today. Hey, one more sleep. You're supposed to get back to him.
Looks over to the right to find the clock isn't there, and looks over to her left to see it. Notices the time.
Yeah. You
And
do.
then starts walking back over towards their bedroom, into her underwear drawer, the place where he's explicitly forbidden. Reaches in, finds a sort of balled up pair of socks, pulls out the packet of cigarettes and the cigarette lighter. And now, still wet, just sitting with her back against the wall in their bedroom, the lights on. First one in 2 months. Must be just another. Whatever.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe it's just in your head. That being said, you're not the only thing stirred this evening. Alec, you haven't been sleeping at all lately. Well, why is it that he's having such a hard time sleeping?
Well, Alec is usually very good at sleeping. He used to sleep often in studio, bar, anywhere. But since that day in the happened, Alec really doesn't sleep that much. He just sits, watches, reads, practicing motion after motion. It's almost as sleep has become non-functional, is what Alec would describe it as. But he lies there, shirtless, in his bed, and waits, folding his hair. He stares at familiar photographs he probably shouldn't be staring at. Photographs of happy times, but, well, what is happiness without uncertainty? And these times, its only certainty is Alec is in misery. He lights a cigarette and just stares out the window into the moonlight.
As you stare into that moonlight, you remember your wife's voice. You remember the last unintelligible words. It's wrong. It's all wrong. Those words that are only associated with the greatest tragedy of your life. And when you look outside, you notice puddles. It must have rained earlier tonight. The sight of water sickens you. And with that, we end up hopping out to the next morning. Tell me, how does Vera wake up? Or has she slept?
Eventually, yeah. after she's burned the cigarette right down to the butt, and thrown that in the bin, along with some other various trash. Considered making herself a cup of coffee again, but nah, it's not worth it. She doesn't sleep in the bedroom. She goes back into the bathroom and in the small tub there and with some things in. Doesn't feel safe sleeping in the bed in the centre of the room. She'd much rather be in a corner somewhere safe, somewhere with a proper lock on the door. And she wakes up, a little unsteady, not sure what time of day it is, likely morning. Fully clothed as well, even boots at the moment. When she woke up, it wasn't a good night. Pulls herself out of the tub, gets out, looks back over towards the mirror.
You still don't see anything. You wish that you were dreaming. You wish you still were. You don't see it. You don't see yourself.
She hand clenches into her fist. She wants to call Frank. She really does. This is something which shouldn't be happening, right? Not after the therapy. No, I can deal with this. She says. She pulls herself away, opens the door, looks back over towards the open underwear drawer. The cigarettes are still there. Hides them again, as she did before, as they haven't been found yet. Goes back out into the kitchen again, actually makes herself a coffee now, as strong as it can be, not even a touch of milk.
No, in fact, you end up putting in just a dash of salt inside the coffee just to accent the bitterness. It's that. At least that has stayed the same. Right. And as you bring the cup over, kind of sip on it. And as you look out into the world, that sense doesn't leave you. Things just don't feel like they're in the proper place. You see it as home, but the details, there's just something off. You wish you could put your finger on it, but it stays.
This is what I get for being a stay-at-home mom. I wish. I'm staring out of the window from the kitchen at the moment for a while, and then when she mostly finishes the coffee, she's gonna head out, take a walk down just to the off license, the local place, right? The thing where you get the papers, the basics.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a small shop, not too far away. I mean, after all, there's a reason Frank ended up choosing this neighborhood, right? You end up finding yourself walking down. You see neighbors coming out. Do you sleep in that much? No, not really. But it did take you a little longer than normal. Being the weekend and all, you can see with a bit of, well, what does she end up feeling when she ends up seeing the sight of kids running around in the front yard playing on those cheap plastic amusement, or those cheap plastic amusements, and you still feel that dampness of the night before, puddles forming. You end up seeing everybody else playing, smiling, people picking up the mail. Everybody even gives you a wave, the kind of welcome to the neighborhood situation. What is Vera feeling right now?
Yeah, whenever anyone waves at her, she answers with the usual sort of slight smile, the curt nod. Again, very military even now. No movement wasted, no energy that's gone to an inefficient cause. And then when she passes by the children, though, then their eyes linger for a little bit longer than they should. Um, Not just on the kids, but also on their parents, looking between them, analysing. Again, always analysing. It's the eyes perhaps show a little bit more warmth than they're used to when she looks over towards that playground. But then the nape of her neck feels off again and turns her head away and then carries on walking. There's the ding when she gets into the place and then starts looking around. She's looking for a distraction more than she is any groceries at the moment, though. She starts perusing the things in the store, seeing if even this place, like us, I mean, if you've been in there a few times, right? Start to get the
Yeah,
hang of where
of
everything is,
course.
where the Mars bar is, that sort of stuff.
Everything feels like it's familiar but distant. You're coming in. You end up seeing the store clerk, man named Roger. You know him a little bit. You know him on a first name basis. Not like you're best friends, but his service is always with a smile. After all, it's that small corner store, the neighborhood store. As you end up starting to pick up the essentials, he smiles at you. Uh, Hey, Vera, I'm so glad to see you again. Yeah, I hope that everything ended up going well. Still getting the hang of the neighborhood. Have you found your way? I know you're coming back, so you clearly know where we are.
Yeah, I didn't have to ask for directions this time. That's fine. Do
Hmm.
you have one of these in a smaller bottle? She's just looking at some like some shampoo or something.
Uh, let me see that. And he extends his hand. Would you be able to roll me? What is that roll? I know it's perception, but I'm trying to remember. Oh, right. What's composure?
Yeah. Any modifiers on that?
No.
No.
It's
One
subtle,
success.
but one success. Okay. When he extends to end up taking the bottle from you, and he's taking a look at it, you know, he's looking at it, and you realize that wedding band of his is all on the wrong finger.
Hey, Roger, you left or right-handed?
Right-handed, always.
Is he? Or would she picked up on that before?
You never bothered to ask, and how often do you end up paying attention to it?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough. Alright. Oh, it's just been wondering if I'm ambidextrous. Do you have those in a smaller bottle?
Yeah, I think we do. I can go to the back.
Yeah.
Let me take a look. He starts to end up making his way, and Roger goes into the back. But Vera looks a little distraught. What is going through her head right now?
Maybe it's just long-term withdrawal symptoms from something I was taking. She looks back down towards, again, just around the rab area, just towards her abdomen on the front side. Puts her hand over that for a moment, just holding it, just sort of around her belly. Taps that with her
Mm-hmm.
finger and feels that dull sensation. Then as soon as presumably Roger comes back out, right?
Yeah. And he comes
Since,
back, and he actually does have a smaller bottle, and it's,
since,
more personal use.
since he does, her hand immediately whips from her belly back over towards the jacket pocket. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just Frank's coming back soon, so I didn't want to overinvest.
Of course, of course. I'm so glad to end up hearing that he's coming back. He's been gone for what, a week now? Huh?
Yeah,
You're still planning on growing this season? No, he said something about you guys starting a garden.
yeah. At least until I can actually get out of the house for a while. Um,
Wow. Good to spend some time outdoors, right?
yeah. Right, how much is it? Oh, shit. Right, I forgot my purse. Can you just hold those there? I'll be back to you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Take care of yourself, Mrs. Winchell.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. I'll be right back. She exits out the place now. That turns instinctively turns right to go home. Is she right in taking that turn, or is she going the wrong way?
You want to go home, and you're going the right way. Are you? And she stops and looks and turns around. No, she's not. No, home's that way.
Reaches down to holds the BlackBerry phone. Taps that for a few seconds, thinking, Frank. No, I'll be back later. No need to worry until then. She pockets the phone again and then starts walking in the direction she knows home is, but not feels.
Yeah, and when you end up continuing, past a few moments later, we're going to end up jumping back to Alec again. Alec, you ended up managing to catch some sleep. You're still waiting to end up hearing back for a contract after all. You end up doing a lot of choreography, not of the dancing variety, though some would label it as a grand dance. No. In fact, this lack of work is the thing that's starting to get to you, right? You're left to your own devices. It's giving your mind a chance to wander. What is it that's going through his head right now? How does he plan to get through the day, especially with the things that are weighing heavily on his mind right now, those things you got to get away from? What is it? Tell me.
Well, Alec wakes up and does his usual routine, trains and hones his body to perfection, concentrates on that familiar steps with parries and lunges, that perfection of each land, of each strike against the dummy. Then he goes outside. Can't stay in the house. No. Been cooped up in that apartment now for that house 2, 3 now. Patiently waiting, checking his phone repeatedly. Throws on his leather jacket and goes briskly out for a walk. He needs to get out. He needs to move. He needs to keep active, because otherwise he's back at the cabin. He can't handle that.
Yeah, anything but the cabin, right? Anything but going back there. Even if it's not real, you don't want to go back. We don't want to end up thinking about that anymore, do we? No, Alec, you step out and date sunshine. That smell of morning dew on the grass. That rain that just came by, leaving its evidence all across the street, doesn't stop people from getting out and enjoying a wonderful Saturday. You end up checking your mail and you see the flyers. It's another one of those flyers for the carnival that's coming in. All those fun little tidbits, Beware the mysteries. See your friends on the other side. Yeah. For some reason, that line, I think you can imagine, stings a little bit more. When you're looking over this, you end up taking the time to look across, and sure enough, here comes your neighbor, Vera, and she seems a little off.
Alec kind of inclines his head at her, kind of. Bear's only recently moved in, so he hasn't acquainted with her all too much, but just kind of smiles warmly. Ah, Vera, good morning.
Hey, she stops walking when he speaks to her. Alec, right? Sorry,
Yes, Alec.
nice. Good. You alright?
Yeah, just, getting the mail and all that, don't worry, I'm just, just enjoying the sunshine.
Do you have a job, Alec?
I have job, yes, I'm waiting to hear on contract. What about you? Are you job or permanent elsewhere? He can't sign the wings.
No. Trying. I think maybe, getting cabin fever.
Nah, I know all about that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you pacing around on your own, or is your, what's his name, Frank?
Yeah, Frank. He's out of town. Just,
Ah, well, if you were a desiring company, I've always vodka in my house, and there's always, cigarettes and stuff like that. Why not make a day of it?
to, looks down at her watch. Fuck it, I have literally nothing else. I was expecting to lay in today, but no. Uh, Woke up a bit earlier.
Mm.
Alright, fine. I mean, I guess at some point we have to speak to each other. We can't go on brushing past each other, can we?
Neither getting disputed. Neighbors and all that.
After you. It's a lot friendlier in the city, I'll tell you that much.
Yes. Yes. City is, they're always busy. I don't know, the first time I came to city, it was always busy.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm not gonna let you in.
Not going to let me in, okay. Well, you can come into my house, it's just me, so there's nobody's going to jump out and scare you.
Probably don't.
Well, come on in. As Alec just strides towards his house, his hands in his jacket.
Yeah, very
What
full.
is your house like on the inside, if you don't mind me asking? Alex,
Very,
paint us a
very
picture.
neat. Very, very neat. Almost perfectly organized. It's the counters are cleaned. It's a small kind of one. You can tell one person lives there, although it's built for two. But it the way it's done, it's neat and orderly. The furniture, it's a bit modern day-ish, but it's nothing. It's the weapon sets that'll be in the house that will be intriguing anyway. There's a rapier there that is polished to perfection almost. Everything is perfection with Alec.
Yeah, and I imagine almost a little vain when it comes down to your weapon collection, right?
Oh yes.
Uh,
Oh.
yes, because there is, in fact, behind it, in order to make sure you see everything of the weapons, right? They're in a mirrored back cabinet, and you display them here to Vera. Vera, you still don't see your reflection, but Alec, nothing's appearing out of the ordinary for you.
Mm. I've seen French rapier, 18th century court, and scimitar and all that useful things.
Hmm.
Well,
Is all this legal?
of course, one must have license.
She's looking in the back of the cabinet, and then there's some of the. These things are over the walls as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, if someone does jump out at you, I feel sorry for him.
I don't need no. Well, not just the swords they have to worry about.
Yeah. What's the point of all this?
Well, I enjoy creating theatricality and deception for you and your audience. I am the guy that makes the actors like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt look good.
Oh, you're a stunt double.
Da, very successful stunt double and stunt driver.
Alright. That sounds a lot more exciting than what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Picking flowers and looking pretty. The
Well,
flowers are coming on nicely, but what can I say?
you obviously are enjoying home life or something, maybe?
Well, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully not for too much longer. Trying to make it in. Frank's job brought him here, I just sort of tagged along. Been unemployed for let's see, 6 months now, I think. Which sucks.
No. Uh, I know the feeling of waiting, and waiting a long time as he opens the fridge and takes out a large bottle of vodka, pours 2 glasses, but cleans the glasses as he's pouring them.
Vera, you remember that you were known, you know better than to drink. After all, you remember what happens when you drink, right?
She takes a whiff of the fumes emanating from that strong stuff. Uh, no thanks.
You don't, you don't drink?
No, I never really have.
That's fair enough. As he pours the thing into the sink and gets her a glass of water, then wipes it down then afterwards as well, and just takes the glass and the bottle from himself and lays down a drink in front of her.
Thanks. Yes, you know
No,
how to
no
use these.
problem.
Like, not just for show.
Mm, yeah. I like vodka because it eases that bitterness in you. Makes you. The sting is always familiar.
Yeah. Well,
Each time.
all this crap on the wall, you know how to use it.
Oh, I know how to use it, yes, but I don't see the need. I'm not a violent man unless violence is necessary, and I don't really get very violent.
Nah. Just resisting the urge to make a joke about the man with a katana on his wall right outside of the kiddies' playground. But I'm sure you're fine. How long you lived here?
How long have I lived there? Well, about 2 years now. Yeah, 2 years. 2 long years.
And forgive me for assuming Russian.
Yes. I suppose it's the accent that gives away.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine.
What about you? Where were you before you just moved in?
Oh, no, nothing much back in Illinois.
Ah,
Yeah, it's pretty far, I know, but um, somebody catches a whiff of something interesting, and he's on it like a tick on a hound dog, Frank. You know.
the I used to know someone who was like that. Always on the center of things.
Hmm.
The,
She's looking down quite intently at the glass of water on the table. Again, it's almost as though she's deceiving herself into thinking she would catch a reflection in it, even though it's transparent.
are you mirroring yourself in the water or something? You seem very distracted.
Alec,
Mm-hmm.
the way she stares at the water, there's something familiar about it. Something that brings you back to the cabin.
Hmm. Vera, do
Hmm?
you, well, are you alright? Are you,
No, no, not. Trust me,
well,
I would not be sitting here trying to make small talk with you if I was. Some shit small talk.
everybody shit at one book, but what is bothering
That's just it. I don't know. Woke up at 3 a.m. last night. And she's still looking at the water. She's drying the glass by now. Is just looking at the base of the thing. I'm not. Everything's off.
When everything's off, nothing is right. And that is some psychological thing. You know.
When you woke up and you brushed your teeth, did you see the reflection in the mirror?
But I know what you're talking about, unfortunately. Alec has this very sort of haunted look in his eyes.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing. Remembering someone. Long time.
Is it the reason you moved?
No, it's just someone who Alec could not save.
Yeah. You and me both.
Well, the difference is at least you're self-aware. The little thing. You know?
Yeah.
So, the best thing to do is not ignore them. Because if you ignore them, then they heap. And believe me, heaping it all, well, I am a result of heaping it all.
Don't ignore it. Right. Now she's beginning to feel this all lack of sleep. She rubs her eyes.
And I think at that moment, we're going to time skip ahead a little. After having small talk, it's Vera in her home. And at that point, she hears keys jangling. And at the front door, in comes the man you've married, Frank. He comes in with smiles. He couldn't be happier to see you. And as you come in without a word, he just takes hold of you and picks you up off the ground and even swings you around. He couldn't be happier to see you. There's a look of joy in his eye.
Frank, okay. I get it. You've been without me for a while. Just whoa, wait, put me down.
Hey.
Time.
Hey, sweetheart. How you been? You look like you haven't got a good night's sleep. You waiting on me?
Yeah. I think I was. How was it?
It's a headache. What did you expect, right? Fuck last minute knee pickups. No, I just couldn't wait to get home at this point. And tell you right now, I'm beat. Whew. No, so you getting along with the neighbors? You make any new friends? I'm kind of feeling bad that I end up missing out on the barbecue, but yeah, well, it's summer.
It wasn't worth going to be perfectly honest with you. Like just bunch of booze, bunch of loud music, and they overcooked half this shit anyway. No, tell you what though, I did have a couple of the lonely guy next door. You know Alec? Oh, no, I don't know if you spoke to him.
No, I don't know how. He's as he's kind of looking at you. It's like he looks at you for something, and just got his eyes narrow a bit, like he's slightly troubled. And he waves it off. Don't worry about it. I'm so glad though. I see you kept busy. I mean, holy shit! Like, I don't think I've ever seen this place this clean.
But don't patronize me to think I'm a housewife again. You know I hate that.
Yeah, I know, but
I did this because you left your shit all over the place. Not because I like, not because
Yeah,
I'm
but I
opposed
thought.
to living in a pigsty.
Yeah, well, it's is what it is, I guess. I'm just, um, I'm just really impressed with you. You changed a lot recently. I think this place is doing you some good.
I don't know. See, with you it's alright
I-
because you get to keep yourself distracted. For me, you're my only distraction. To be perfectly honest with you.
Well, if this ends up working out, work from home at that point, then we could spend all the time in the world. Besides,
I'm
I
just,
mean, you've been keeping yourself busy. I mean, you even managed to get the garden up and running, and I thought we were going to do that together. You don't remember putting that garden together, but when he looks out the window, you see fresh tilled soil. The outer bit's been built. It's there. It seems to be planted, and it was a wreck when he left.
Frank, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I haven't touched those fucking flowers since you left.
Oh, come on! Now you're being, yeah. So what did you do? End up what's his name? Alec? You have him come over and do it?
No, Frank, come with me. She just grabs him by the elbow and starts pulling him over towards the bathroom window again. Just come with me.
All right. All right. Hey, be gentle, okay? I don't need you dislocating my arm.
She's just pulled him into the bathroom now. She's looking directly at the mirror.
Yeah. Hey, you see him looking at you through the mirror. That's all it is, though. It's just him. He's smiling at you through the mirror.
Where am I?
Well, I get to end up seeing the most beautiful woman I've ever had laid eyes on, sitting side by the handsomest gentleman I know.
Stop fucking with me, Frank. Where am I? I should be right there.
And he's looking at you like very concerned, like, Vera, what's going on again?
Where's my reflection, Frank?
What's
I haven't seen my reflection all
what are
day.
you talking
It's wrong. The shit's on the other side of it.
about? What are you talking about, Vera?
You see me?
Your reflection's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He puts his hands on his shoulder.
Okay. Alright.
Come on.
It is for you. I can't see myself. I haven't been able to all day.
And he's got this clear bit of concern on his face. He pulls you in close and he just holds you, and like he's trying to hold you. Like, you could feel his heart in his chest mirroring your own. Right there's that. He's worried for you. Clearly, he's scared for you. He doesn't know what to think about all this. He just kind of holds you. You hold on to him.
I don't know. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. It's not like back when I was still in the hospital. This is. It wasn't as loud. It was. It's like I'm still dreaming. It's never been like that.
Vera, I don't know what to tell you. Look, look, kid, I'm right here, all right? Look, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Look, this is a little fucked up, okay? I'm not gonna lie, that's a little fucked up. But, whatever you're going through, we'll get through this together. Well, I said, till death do it hard, I meant it. You know that, right?
Yeah. I know you did.
All right. I'll tell you what, if it'll make it easier on you, I'll tape up the mirrors or something like that, just like so you don't have to look at them. I need you to relax, all right?
It's not just the mirrors, it's everything. It's like I'm not there, but
it's everything.
Everything. It's all. Look, right there, okay? You remember your side, my side? She's pointing at the separate cups for the toilet, the toothpaste. Your cup, my cup. Right, she's just pointing between them, hoping that he'll catch on that they're the opposite way round. At least she feels like they are. Right? That this is my toothbrush?
Yeah. And he nods, though when you're pointing at your toothbrush, it feels off. It's on the wrong side.
No. No, that's not it. She pulls it up, but is this my toothbrush or yours?
Which one do you think you pulled?
She thinks that she's pulled her toothbrush.
Yeah, honey, it's yours.
She just throws it at the wall. Fuck me. Sorry, Pop.
Vera, please, okay? You're scaring the shit out of me right now.
I know. I'm scaring the shit out of myself. Okay.
Look,
I think.
Tell you what. It's getting late. Help me unpack. Get some sleep. And we'll find a distraction, okay? I'm finding flyers for Carnival. How about we end up going out? You get out of the house. Might do you some good.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Oh shit! Who ever thought being without you for a week would? You're like a drug, Frank. You know that. You're like a drug. Maybe I'm just having withdrawal symptoms from it.
Well, and there goes that sweet. Though there's a look on Frank's face that shows extreme concern right now. We'll skip ahead. And right now, Alec, you're asleep. And right now, you're on a dock, looking down at the water. You're at the cabin. But when you look down, the moon is above the trees, gazing down. You don't see you. You see two small children looking up at you, pleading, hammering at the bottom of the water like it's solid glass.
Alex sort of reaches out and attempts to reach down and touch the water, almost stretching out desperately for the two of them.
When you do so, as soon as your hand breaks the water, ripples go out. And you see the ripples carry away the images of your children. And instead you see where you pierce the water, blood that seems to bellow up from the deepest part of this lake. And you see it swell up from where you broke the surface of the water. And when you pull your hand out, it's covered. and you hear that voice that long since passed. It's all wrong.
Oh, no, no, no. No, it's not wrong. It's fixed. It's fixed. I can't. No. No.
Well, you look at it and you see the blood on your hands, dripping down thick as tree sap as it patters its way on that dock, facing out. And when you look to the moon, you, you don't know what to think. You just watch somewhere in the distance in the water. You see two silhouettes of black barely floating face down. You can't see the details, but you know. You know.
No, I fail. I can't fail. I can't swim. As Alec attempts to dive into the water, kind of desperately pushing against, trying to reach those black silhouettes, as he can't fail. He can't now.
Yeah, you try and dive in, but as soon as you do, you try and pop back up, and then you look up at the moonlight through the water as you're trying to swim, but you can't get to the surface anymore. It's like it's made of glass or something, but you can't get out. You can't get out. The water is threatening to go up your nose into your lungs. And there's that taste of copper. The moon just is sitting there and it's taunting you as you see those two silhouettes face down, and you can see their faces from here. And you're trying to get to them, but you can't. And at that point, you wake.
Oh, just a dream, Alec. Just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. Oh, it's just a dream. Oh, what was that? Oh, 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 oh. As Alec kind of gets up and lights a cigarette very shakily, and just lies at the bed, kind of his body's caked with sweat as he just runs his hands through his hair. I need to get out of this house. As he starts pacing basically towards the kitchen.
And as you go towards the kitchen, you sit there and you look. You're at your kitchen window. Gives you a great view of the backyard, even your neighbor's yard. You look at the garden you've seen Vera working on. You've seen her. It's what takes her mind off at night. You can only imagine, especially after the conversation you've had. But that one thing she said to you lingers. It's almost like your wife could have spoken it. Everything's wrong. With that, we go to Vera, whose sleep is even less. Because you remember sitting on the kitchen floor, bottles of whiskey, and you feel drunk. You're on the floor, You reaching for your medication. That's not your medication. Whose medication is that? And you look out. You look at the garden, and you feel it. You feel some relief. You feel like you've done good work, even in your drunken stupor. As you start taking down pills and washing them down with whiskey, you stumble outside, and you take hold of a shovel, and you start to walk towards the shed. And you realize that your hands are caked in blood. Yet, you're not panicking. There's something that feels right about this.
Your fingers clench around the edge of the shovel. The other hand reaches up again towards her abdomen, goes underneath the shirt, strokes along the scar, the jagged thing that just pierces underneath her belly. And then carries on walking. Unlocks the outside of the shed. Pulls it open. The eyes are blank. He looks inside.
And inside, you see a bunch of gardening tools. You see the seeds that you need to lay down now. You need to. Surely the blood on your hands will help soak the seeds, help them grow. That's the way it works, right?
Looks over and lets the shovel bury itself in the ground for a moment. She undoes one of the packets of the things. The things that previously she so hated, she'd much rather be spending her time, exercising, but there's only so much of that you can do in the day before you're completely knackered, right? It's mundane, it's housewife work. She's not a housewife, no, fuck that. Just because Frank's important she isn't doesn't mean that she has to sit here and just look after the place. No, she'd live in a pigsty if it meant that she could just get out for a while, It's not as though he's keeping her here, it's just that there's nothing else to take her mind off it. She empties a set of those seeds into her hands and watches them stain themselves. Lets the packet fall to the ground and tills over a small bit of the soil. It's exactly where they need to be. This isn't just random. It's as though she's predicted it in her sleep, and then lets those little red pebbles fall down to the ground.
And as you watch them, you find yourself, your eyes open. But this isn't a startled bit. It's not like the last time. This is, you don't understand, but you feel really calm right now. And maybe that's the thing that starts the descent into worry. Frank is laying beside you after a night of making love. You see him content, sleeping. Clearly it has been a hard day on him. But what about you?
Very, very carefully pulls her way out of her side of the bed. Is it her side? It doesn't look like her side, but it feels like it. And even that realization is almost enough to make her grit her teeth and make a sound, but she doesn't. Pulls the gown around her. Thinks about waking Frank to get him to come with her to check the garden, but it's not worth it. His concern is going to eat away at him. He's been concerned for her for ever since she met him. She's not used to that. She's used to harshness. She's used to hardness. She's used to, well, the army. Having somebody who's got her back, that's not alien. Having someone that's willing to die for her, even, that's not a new feeling. That's not a new sensation. But they were all soldiers. Frank isn't. She knows that. She knows she's always been the stronger of the two. At least that's what she thinks. Pulls the gown around her. She's gonna fix this, the wrongness. Whether it's her fault or his, she's gonna fix it. And she walks over towards the living room to look outside. Shuts her eyes just before she gets over to the window. Opens them.
When you open them, you see your backyard. It's exactly like it was in your dream. You could see the seeds planted with care. Now starting to sprout, in fact. You look towards the shed, and your heart starts to race a little when you see that little mark near the door. A mark in the ground where a spade once was plunged.
Turns out around very, very slowly to look to the rest of the living room. Starts now that calmness is almost returning. This is something tangible. This isn't in her head. She could see it this time. Starts walking with surprising surety, bare feet slapping on the wooden floor, over towards the kitchen. Reaches over towards the sort of the knife sheath, the wooden block. Pulls out one of them and just lays it on the side at the moment. She doesn't take it with her when she walks back over, pushes it in, looks at Frank.
Frank sleeps. His snores are loud. You come to know him. But maybe that noise is what helps you sleep. That little bit of abstraction is what makes it a little easier each night. Because, well, we've seen how Vera is when everything's quiet. Maybe it's just that snoring that puts her a little bit at ease.
After checking on, she walks back over, picks up the knife again, pulls the gown around her, reaches down without her socks, just puts the boots she favours on. Doesn't even bother to do the laces up, just pulls them tight. Puts the knife just on the inside of the thing, but keeps a hold of it, and then opens the door, making sure her keys are in the pocket of the thing. And then starts. She's going to make her way very sort of tentatively, carefully. She's keeping the thing concealed, but she's ready to witness notice over towards the back garden, and if she can, over towards the shed of the mark.
Well, it's at this point, believe it or not, Alec, as you're picturing the backyard, you see Vera at it again. Gardening in the night. You can understand it, right? I mean, after all.
Well, Alec kind of gets up and walks over and so that kind of shudders. He pops a cigarette in his mouth and throws on a pair of jeans. He doesn't want to walk out there in the kind of middle of, the night, really, I'm assuming. Throws on that, leather jacket of his just for warmth, and pops a cigarette and lights it as he opens the shutters. He might as well, if she's gonna dig. Hell, he doesn't want to go back to sleep again. That means he's at the cabin. It means he's in the water. And he slides the shutters over and kind of props himself up quite easily. Jumping around is not an issue for Alec as he sits up on the wall and shouts over the Vera, "Digging again?"
I do hear this, right?
Yes, you do.
The knuckles clench out just white against the blade of the thing. Alec, you scared the shit out of me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, the other one waking up half the fucking neighborhood digging her holes.
You're the one digging the holes. She looks over towards the hole in the garden. Have you been...
There's no hole in the garden.
Yeah.
Everything's planted, everything perfect in its place.
He walks over towards the shed and now basically blanking Alec. Opens the shed and looks inside.
And everything is like you've seen it. Spilled seed. The floor has been cleaned recently, but there's still dirt on that spade.
Alec, come down here.
Are you sure?
Yes, come down here.
He leaps down quite nimbly and strides over. What am I looking at?
Is there a hole in the ground just behind me?
No.
Yes, there is.
Oh.
There is
Duh.
it's like a spade has been shoved into just outside the door.
Oh, okay. There is a hole in the ground. You've been...
Yeah. I had
whips. He
whips.
traces along with his spade.
I had whips around and looks down to where he points to where she thinks she made the hole.
Look.
Yes, it's right where you're pointing.
See, you can see spade marks.
Is there doing on that spade?
You've been digging, clearly.
Alec, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you need to go put the spade down. Go inside for a second.
Shuts the shed door. Can I come into your place again? I don't want to go back indoors.
Okay. What about the garden? Well, you're on your own, duh? You don't have to worry about your house being burgled or something?
Somebody's... I don't know. Hey, Frank's back.
Okay. So, why do you want to coming into my house and not going with your husband?
I don't want to worry him.
Alright. Vera. Okay, this is probably better settled over, I think. Come on. He jumps back over onto the wall again.
She still has the knife. It's worth mentioning when she's just making that she's just wrapped up. She follows him skirting over the wall lightly, those heavy boots unlaced now, taking care not to trip up. Walks back into his place.
I think you need. What do I? You said you don't drink, so you smoke it, huh?
In my mind, Vera's thinking I couldn't really do that right now. Yeah, I smoke.
Good, at least you'll do something. As he slides the packet over.
Thanks.
Oh, no problem. He reaches in and pours basically vodka into a glass. Makes a sip. So,
So, I've
nothing is alright, isn't it?
no, it's not. I can't sleep without seeing things. Like, I dug a hole in the garden, but she checks her hands to see there is no blood on them, right?
No, they're clean.
I, I'm having dreams, and I don't know why they stopped. They're supposed to have stopped.
Have you always had the
Only 7 months ago they started, but they're always louder. They're never this quiet. It's always bangs and pain, and now it's just it's quieter. It's not the same. It's not the same. And then I remember digging that hole, but I hate gardening. Do you know why I do it? I do it because I just want to take my mind off of being fucking bored, and because in a weird way, hating doing it makes me want it. I want to see those fucking bean sprouts eventually grow, so just I can step on them. But I have not touched that garden since Frank left for an entire week. I have not been in the shed for an entire week, so I want you to tell me, Alec, if you've been doing something to my garden without me knowing.
he stops and pauses? That was someone else
You're breaking up, brother.
I knew, probably.
But Vera
Hang on. I'm okay
was waiting
now.
for that. Yeah, now you're better.
What about that touch your garden when Izzy stops? That was someone else I knew used to like that.
cool snippets of that.
Yeah. Vera, you.
Internet is fighting me today.
Vera, when you end up looking at him, he has that look like, what are you talking about? Of course. Fully understandable from Alec's point of view. After all, he's seen several nights where she's been out in the garden, working tirelessly on it. Those late night projects. Vera, on the other hand, she's never touched this garden. Why? What has she been doing? What is she up to?
Do
What does he mean?
you, you could get like sleepwalkers, right? But some people are sleep eaters. Do you think I'm a sleep gardener? I,
And it seems like we ended up losing Alec for the time being. Or is he still there? Well. Here he comes. Give us a line, see if it's still breaking up.
Um,
Yeah, it is. Tell you what,
I'm about.
let's end this here for now. Part 1 of Friends on the other side. Stay tuned to part 2.